Hey there guys, Fave here, and today we got a really interesting retro topic for all of you, right? So let's talk about it. So, as I've said in my previous video about people having negative Robux and ticks, which if you haven't seen, check that out. My old friend from way back in the day, Super Colin, remembers a lot of stuff that I don't, and he has the evidence to back it up too. So before I jump into today's story, I have to present today's challenge. So today's challenge is, if you have a tongue, smash that like button. And with that being said, let's talk about it. So, what do I mean when I say Roblox games had ghosts? Now, there was a Call of Duty game called Ghosts, and that wasn't very good to say the least. And there was dogs and stuff. Bark, bark! And of course, you know, when you think about ghosts, you think about people throwing blankets over themselves and trying to spook you, or even more, the paranormal, things haunting you at night. Like I remember when I was a little kid playing Super Mario 64, if you walked into the basement and you didn't have a lot of stars, there'd be this giant ghost, and they used to scare the living crap out of me when I was like a little kid, right? But that's besides the point, alright? Today we're going to talk about Roblox ghosts, okay? So, of course, with that being said, I have to rewind, inform, and teach y'all some stuff, okay? So we have to take it all the way back to March 2009, the front page of Roblox in March 2009. So some of the most popular games at the time had a few hundred players. We have the Crazy Jungle Obby, you got the Noobometer Obby Course, Stickmaster Luke's Boat Wars, Fishing Tycoon by Jared Valdez 2, which, you know, might be a future video in itself, Climb Mario to Win, Superheroes Obby, Prove Yourself a Hero, Jedi Fights on the Heights 2, he misspelled Heights, but you can get on the front page with a typo back in the day. But honestly, like if you look at all these games, they're all very amateur, classic, and it's just really cool to see how far Roblox has come in 11 years, right? So if you scroll around, you can see that people really loved obbies, people loved tycoons, not a lot of creativity. I mean, there was some exceptions here, like the Helicopter Wars game, but for the most part, it was very simple, very basic, and it had its own charm to it, you know? But it wasn't always easy to get a few hundred people in your game in March 2009. I mean, they didn't even invent the advertising system yet, I don't think, so, like, basically, you just had to hope people found your game and got into it. But, of course, rather than hoping and trying to walk around promoting your game, you could always cheat. That's right, cheating. So, why did I talk about ghosts? If you put ghosts in your game, you would certainly have enough players online to really get to the point, right? So, it's late March of 2009, and we're going to introduce a user named Orange551. Interestingly enough, Orange451 is still active to this day. In fact, as of when I'm recording this, he is editing a game, alright? So we were actually able to get comments from him, but let's talk about the ghosts, of course. So, basically, every Roblox game has scripts in it. That's how they work, that's how they function. But back in 2009, people didn't know quite as much about scripting, and there was many cool ways you could bend Roblox and take advantage of it that the admins did not like. And this one was called Ghost Players, okay? So, they wanted to go on the front page, and basically, here's how it worked, right? So this guy named Clarinet, shout out to Squidward, is asking the important questions here. Reason why the first game remained first for more than a day. The first game, most popular, has been on the front page, and the first game for more than a day. Over 1,000 people are in the game. The reason? Well, the creator of the game must have used a player script or something that makes fake players and servers. You can see that by clicking on a Robloxian on the first page of the game and see that he or she is offline. How can you play the game when you're offline? People were in the game, which made sense, but when you went to the people's profiles, they were offline. So how could you be offline and in a Roblox game? So let's look at some of the reactions to people implementing this. So basically, you'd have fake ghost players in the game, and they would show that there'd be a lot of people in your game even though they're not online. So here's how some of the people reacted at the time. So this thread from March 29, 2009 says, DFF280 has 4 of their places on the front page. How the gets shot. Apparently this is forbidden information, and he gets shot for even disclosing it. Whoa, that's epic. It's been like that ever since this morning. He must be getting tons of tickets. Imagine how many tickets they're making per minute. I am guessing this is an exploit. How could he have 3 brand new places on the front page that have only become famous today? Well, Ben Blue 8 was truly onto something because he truly was guessing it right. It was an exploit. So let's look at some more reaction. This is insane! So Slothman on March 29, 2009 just posted about a crazy fun obby. And it says, 1,000 plus players and growing! Insane! One pie. Yeah, 1,000 people in a game was pretty much unheard of back then. Because if we go back here, this game had 400 people. And so to have 1,000, that's over doubling what's happening here. And this was already a lot. So, you know, it's kind of absurd seeing 1,000 people in a game back in the day, right? So then you have Ben Blue 8 making his own thread now. DFF 280 and Exploiter, 4 places, all bad, all become popular in one day. When you click on a person in the place, many of them are offline. This could only mean one thing, an exploit. He must have made some script that generates people into a place. The facts stand. People did catch on to this, and this next piece of information was the breaking point for a lot of people. Big Red 1995 says, the best part is that he saved it as a model, and now people are going to steal it, and then everything will go boom. So, a model, huh? Well, let me explain to you guys, if you don't know, what models are, right? So if you go to the Roblox catalog and you search in the library, or if you're making a game, you can take things called free models. The thing about free models is that they're free, and as you can see, there's over 20 million of them today. Now, to limit it down to what existed back then, it'd still be hard to find a very specific one, because there was still at least a few 100,000 of them back then, right? Anyway, so people were investigating around, and this username exploit test, which is very obviously an alternate account, we have this post right here, very spooky, amazing. The parent's ghost script is truly elegant. As most of you know, a motorcycle model is the source of a very different kind of script. It can fool Roblox's system and keep a ghost copy of the player in-game once the real player leaves. This script only works if the player used the motorcycle though, otherwise the script means nothing. So what does that mean? Basically, if a person joined the game, went on someone's motorcycle, then even if they left the game, it would show that they were still in the game and add to the player count, and make your game more famous as it appeared that more people were in it than really were. So, you know, there's discussion happening here. This one guy says, exploits are horrible, yet beautiful. So anyway, they discussed it at length. And I think the really interesting part is the famous admin known as Shiletsky, when his username was Telemon back then, says, 1,000 Robux to the first person to send me a link to the model with this script in it. So even Shiletsky, one of the probably the most famous admin at the time, could not find this model. He wanted to figure out what was going on, and he couldn't find it. So he offered 1,000 Robux, which, trust me, that was a lot back then, okay? You could buy a classic Fedora with that amount of money back then. So yeah, he was offering that to the first person to send him a link to the model. And if we take a look at the game in question here, it's this blank faceplate called Test Your Obstacle Course Skills with about 100,000 visits. So they spelled obstacle wrong, which is kind of sad. And this was an infamous game at the time with fake players in the game. 60 dislikes and 12 likes. I mean, they didn't even have that then, but I guess people still are hating, right? What's the VIP t-shirt look like for this game, right? Well, it's VIP shirt. Now let's go ahead and check on Yamanashi, see how he's doing today, right? Well, of course, he's banned forever. Now, of course, what is this motorcycle? What is this model? I've been holding back on this information long enough, so let's talk about it. Well, believe it or not, this is the next gen dirt bike by Orange 451. And yes, so this was 100% an accident how this happened. He made a dirt bike, which to this day has nearly 500,000 sales, was once the most frequently used dirt bike on Roblox, probably is to this day. And this is a piece of history right here, because it would have people stuck in your game forever, even when they weren't here. So I go ahead and take a copy of it. Now, funnily enough, here's where my friend supercolin comes into the story. So he actually interviewed him all the way back in 2009. And so, on May 22nd, 2009, he posted this interview with Orange 451. Orange 451 became a talk around Roblox for apparently making an exploit to get players to come to his game. I interviewed him to get the truth. Did you make the fake player script? He says, there is no such thing as a fake player script. If you are referring to the exploit near Easter, you are thinking of the one that kept people in a game even after they are gone. There are no fake players. Did you get a message from the moderators about the fake players? No. What did they say? Nothing. Did you make the script by yourself or with help? Nope, I didn't make it. I just got it from a trusted friend. Do you regret the script? Not entirely, because I only got 10k visits from it, and that's not even a 45th of my place visits. That's very specific math you're doing there, Orange Man, but, you know. The mod said you lost tickets because of this. How much was it? Nope, I lost nothing. The mods never said I lost money. This was just a rumor spread by members who were entirely wrong about the exploit. So, I don't know. He's kind of assuming guilt here. I don't know what's happening here. It's kind of odd. But basically, overall, people were really confused. And especially supercolin was confused, because if you look at this screenshot here, he posted, "I hate that script that makes your place on front page. It makes me so mad." So yes, even our friend supercolin was not happy with this script taking over Robloxia. But yeah, with all that being said, imagine you made a script that would make people be in your game forever, and they would be ghosts. And you could just be famous forever. What would you do with that sudden fame on Roblox in a popular game? Would you actually make a good game, or would you just force everyone to stay in a crappy game and just flex on people that you're on the front page? Either way, let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Roblox Fave, subscribe and hit the bell to Fave and Fave 2. Join my Discord server, discord.gg/Fave. And it's your boy Fave, and I am out.